Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Guns and Gear Network. Today, the topic is going to be night vision. This is going to be a three-part series. It's going to discuss my research and what I've my thoughts on night vision and what I've done to set up my night vision that I have and the type of gear I use and why I used it. What prompted this video? I wanted night vision, and there's some good information on the internet, but there was some of the information kind of missing. So I was a little confused with some things as far as how to mount it, what worked with what mounts, and so forth. So I want to clarify some of that and hopefully save you some pains when it comes to trying to figure this stuff out. Let's first talk about night vision in general. Now, from a tactical, survival, prepping, hunting, so forth, night vision. It gives you an extreme advantage. If you just look at the hunting application of it, hunting hogs at night, coyotes, predators, that sort of thing, huge advantage. Let's also look at from a prepping perspective, and let's say you need to get from point A to point B without kind of giving away your position by any type of artificial light at night, such as a flashlight. This gives you the advantage to do that without doing that. Because the thing about night vision, a lot of people think, I'll never use it, or I'll hardly ever use it, so they don't spend the money. Let me put this in perspective to you. It is dark half of the day, it is dark half of the week, it is dark half of the month, it's dark half of the year. So a lot of our time is in darkness. And if you look at any military units, so forth, they operate a lot at night, and there's a reason for that. The night gives you a tactical advantage. It's also why a lot of crimes happen at night, because it gives them a tactical advantage of not being seen and or identified. And your grandpa or your dad always says that nothing happens good after 12 o'clock and midnight, and that is kind of the case here. And they so that's what I'm saying, is the fact that a lot of bad guys operate at night, and so you want to have a tactical advantage. So let's look at night vision in general. You have basically four types of night vision. Now, this is not counting just your eye adjusting or anything like that, but just strictly enhanced night vision capability. You have Gen 1, 2, and 3, and you also have digital night vision. Digital night vision is very similar to night vision cameras, security cameras that you can buy to put up around your home that allows you to see what's going on outside your door when it's dark outside. It uses our illuminators to accomplish that, to be able to see. And I'm fighting a little bit of a cold today, guys. Sorry about that if I sound a little funny. But also the Gen 1, Gen 2, and then Gen 3. On Gen 1, that is the oldest technology, and it came about in the late 60s, I think early 60s. It was first implemented really in Vietnam. So they actually used Gen 1 through the Vietnam era. Gen 2 came around in the 70s, and then of course Gen 3. You're going to see some advances as far as the ability of what one's capable of. That's a given. However, you're also going to see a huge price difference from Gen 1, Gen 2, and then Gen 3. Gen 3 can usually be had $300 or less. Gen 2 is in that $1,000 range or a little above. And then Gen 3 is all the way up in the 3,000, and I've seen some in the 5,000, depends on what they're doing and their specific purpose and so forth. So there's a huge difference in price. If you can afford Gen 3 PVS 14s, by all means, buy it. But on the flip side of that, I would say Gen 1 It's perfectly fine if you're on a budget, but understand its limitations. All night vision has limitations. I don't care if it's Gen 3, Gen 1, or Gen 2, but Gen 1 has more limitations than Gen 4, than Gen 3. So with that said, when we talk about Gen 1, think of it this way, and I'll kind of explain a little bit of what you can expect from Gen 1. Gen 1 night vision requires a lot more ambient light to come in, or enhanced light like with IR, to be able to see clearer images at night. Gen 3 requires less. So that's the difference really between the two. And the clarity on a Gen 3 is much better. Now, does that mean you can't see with Gen 1? Absolutely not. I went with Gen 1, and I want to kind of scan around here, guys, of some of the gear we're going to talk about in the series. Different types of mounts and what I think and so forth. So on your Gen 1, let me give you this scenario. You're outside at night in your backyard, and you have a street light of some sort in your backyard. Obviously, the ambient light that the street light casts around, you can see what's there. Maybe shadowy, it may be whatever, but you can see it. Cats, dogs, your garbage can, whatever the case may be, you can see that. Let's say further in back of your yard, you have a wooded area that you cannot see. Well, with Gen 1, and I just use Gen 1 as a generic terminology, but let's say night vision, you're going to be able to look into that area that's dark, and it's going to gather all the light that it has available, whether it be moonlight, stars, and or street lights, and it's going to push it through the system and allow you then to see into that darker area, the wooded area. It also can use IR to enhance that. IR being an artificial light, if you will, that's not visible to the human eye. And that's kind of what you can expect. I think I hear some complaints about Gen 1 or this, that, and the other. My thing is, I think people really don't A, research it and understand what they're getting, and B, their expectations, because they've only watched night vision in the movies, and night vision in the movies is like really crystal clear or whatever the case may be, and or they hadn't really learned their equipment and how to make adjustments, how to fine tune how it's mounted or what it's mounted to, and even when it mounted on a helmet mount, the slightest cant when it's on the unit in front of your eye can cause a difference as far as what you see. It's just like a scope when you look through it. If your eye relief is not correct, you get scope shadow. Well, this is no different. You're still going to get some of that. Also, there's usually adjustments to fine tune to make it clearer, just like you would, like say, a set of binoculars. You're going to have to learn to make these adjustments and have everything lined up, because you are looking through a small tube here, just like you are with a scope. So think of it as kind of like looking through a scope, whether it be a spotting scope, rifle scope, hunting scope, and you need to make those adjustments correct. And when you set up a rifle scope, you set up the proper cheek weld to make sure you're lined up, the eye relief distance and all that. This is no different. You'll have to do the exact same thing with a helmet mount, or it's obviously easier if you just handhold. If you're doing a handheld type style, you're just holding it like this, you can put it up to your eye, and it almost naturally adjusts because your hand-eye coordination as far as adjusting it out works. So if not, on a helmet, you're going to have to make adjustments. So keep that in mind. So I think that's where some of the complaints come in. People they'll get it out of the box, they'll throw it up there on whatever, helmet or head harness mount, and they're like, I can't see out of this thing, or whatever the case may be, and they just get frustrated with it. So understand your equipment and really practice and learn with it. So, talking about getting from point A to point B from a tactical perspective or prepping perspective, let's just say you're in a grid down situation, kind of a crap hits the fan, everything's pitch black. you and your family are hunkered down in your house, and you hear some stuff going on outside, and you need to get to a safer area of your home. Well, if you didn't have night vision, you would be stuck with just turning on a flashlight potentially. You may have adjusted enough naturally with night vision of your eyes to make it to a safer area, maybe not. But let's say you need to find something that you need, or whatever the case may be. As soon as you turn a flashlight on, you've given your position away. Law enforcement a lot of times will ride through an area and see a store. Then people have been caught this way. They'll ride by through a district, a store district where they've got a business district, and they'll see a flashlight on in a dark building, and they're like, what's going on there? So they'll pull in. Well, that's kind of the same thing. You've given your position away once you turn the lights on of any type. With night vision, you could at least take it and put it on and get from point A to point B and get into a safer area or a more tactical advantaged situation. That's just one application. Then you get into the hunting application. You actually get into engaging targets with it. You have the advantage. Now, a lot of people will, talking about Gen 1, because Gen 1 is so IR dependent, IR light dependent, people will argue the fact that, well, if somebody else has night vision, they'll be able to see you anyway because you're giving off the IR glow. Because when you look through your night vision at another person using night vision or an IR light, it glows. That is true. However, unless you're very well camouflaged, they're going to they can see you anyway because they have night vision. So let's just say you have the most expensive PVS 14s out there. You're not running IR because it gathers so much light, and you can have it. Well, if that person's got night vision, you're standing in the middle of a field, they can still see you. Now, no, it's not going to glow, but they're still going to be able to see you. So, I mean, I understand the argument, but my point is, don't think that, don't get turned off by some of the negative stuff you hear about on the internet that you have to have Gen 3, or you might as well not even buy. I don't buy into that. Do I think Gen 3 is superior? Absolutely. No doubt about it. Do I think that Gen 1 has its place? Absolutely, it does. And that's what we're going to talk about in this series. I wanted to briefly touch about night vision in general, and kind of what we're going to talk about, and my thoughts on night vision as far as being able to use it for prepping, hunting, like I said, tactical application. So this right here kind of gives you an overview of what the series is going to be about and what I've done. All right, guys, I appreciate it. We'll bring you video number 2 coming up here shortly. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. And we will get back to you with the new video coming up here shortly. And I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, please post those below. Be glad to try answering those. If you have any suggestions, comments, critiques about any of the equipment you see or any of the views you've heard about that I share, if you've got alternative views or something you want to discuss, always share those. We like to hear that from anybody with different experiences. And anyway, appreciate it, guys. If you would like, share, and subscribe, and we'll get to you with another video. Have a good day.